Thank you very much, Zenzele, for your time. I guess Zimbabwe was in a very precarious situation even before COVID-19, but now it's even worse. Let's talk about fears that the country is sitting on a ticking time bomb. Why?
Well, there are a number of issues. Firstly, people have been complaining about the slow rate of testing. So far, less than 1,000 people have been tested, and 14 of those have been tested positive. So people think that the low numbers of cases is because there are very few people who are tested, and probably there are many who are sick. But also we have a situation, the social situation, where there is a lockdown, there's a shortage of meal. So people are not observing the social distancing because they are always in the queues for meal, which is the most commodity that people are looking for. There is delivery of meal, but I think there's a lot of corruption. So each time you go around, you find long queues, people are crowded, they are complaining that those who are connected are the ones who are getting meal. So this is worrying that if in case there is any spread of this disease in western suburbs or communities where a lot of people are living, then there will be a serious crisis.
A shortage of meal, and even before the coronavirus, we'd see high cases of remittances from South Africa to Zimbabwe, where people would take over fish oil, some medicines. What is the situation in terms of other essential items as well?
Yeah, we realize that Zimbabweans mostly rely on Botswana and South Africa for doing their groceries because the prices here are quite high and many things are not in stock. So with the lockdown, that means the people normally called Domalaichas who are carrying the grocery across the borders are not available because of the lockdown. So there is quite a problem there. A lot of people usually are living hand to mouth. We have about, according to UN agencies, about 7 million people in Zimbabwe who need food aid, and this was before the coronavirus and the lockdown. So the situation is very bad. Many people can just maybe barely get a meal a day. So it's quite a crisis, a time bomb waiting to happen because people don't know where they're going to get the next meal, how they're going to pay for the fees when the schools open, and how they're going to pay for their rentals month end.
Add to that thousands of Zimbabweans who left South Africa when the lockdown was announced to go to Zimbabwe. Do we have any idea if those people who came into the country were screened?
Well, we know that about 13,000 Zimbabweans who crossed the border from South Africa just before the lockdown. When it started, there was a bit of screening, but it was not thorough. But what has happened now is that there have been quarantine centers. So if you are coming into Zimbabwe, whether you are a returning resident, you are mandated to go by the 14-day quarantine where you have to stay and they test you. But those 13,000 that left, most of them did not go to the quarantine centers. I remember just before the South African lockdown, we went to the Zimbabwean border, and a lot of people were crossing into Zimbabwe to their rural areas. So they've not been in a good follow-up. We don't know how those people are doing, or any of them was carrying the virus. So it's quite a tricky situation.
It would seem that we share some issues as well in terms of those who are tasked with enforcing lockdown regulations. Some reports of police brutality. Can you confirm that for us?
Yes, we have had reports that journalists have been denied access to places. Some were arrested. We have also had reports that some people were arrested for loitering, a few others beaten up. So where there is police enforcement, the history of the police in Zimbabwe has not been that good. We've had a lot of brutality over the years, and probably while they're still trying to transform from being a police force to a police service, you always get those issues. But I would say, compared to other years, I think this time around they've tried their best, although we still have those cases.
On the issue of protective gear, masks and gloves, we do know that mogul Jack Ma had made a couple of donations to a number of African countries, and Zimbabwe is one of the recipients. What has been the situation there? Have people been able to use them? Has there been widespread distribution?
There is still a shortage of the protective clothing in many institutions. Driving around the police roadblocks, you still find police without the protective clothing, and they want to see your license, and you always say, but what if you contaminate my license because you don't have the clothing? So in hospitals as well, we have had those challenges. I mean, one thing that people have been talking about is that Zimbabwe is not really ready to have a number of cases, or if we have a serious outbreak. We have 1 or 2 isolation centers, mainly in big cities like Harare and Bulawayo, but outlying areas, smaller towns, they're just starting now this week to set up these centers, and we have a shortage of ventilators, a shortage of protective clothing. Like we have said, less than 1,000 people have been tested. So that shows a slow pickup or a slow movement in trying to make sure that we are really ready for this disease if it's to hit us hard.
Zenzele Ndebele in Bulawayo, Zimbabwe for us. Thank you very much for your time.